Welcome to PastMaster, the show where we try and reshape history with the help of our AI-powered Game Master. On today's episode, Chris Dillon returns with a mission to go into space aboard Apollo 11.
Are you going to sort of basically stow away as a civilian?
I'm going to dress up as like a can of Spam, or whatever space food was.
You're literally just going to stow away.
I'm going to turn up on the day.
And when they get up in space, they're like, what the who? What?
We're a bit heavy by an extra person. What's going on?
His tactic? Impersonate Buzz Aldrin to steal his spot. But the Game Master takes things a bit too literally. A familiar silhouette approaches. The real Buzz Aldrin. You have mere seconds before two versions of the same man occupy the same space.
I did not see this episode coming down to this.
This seems to imply that if we are in the same room, that the world's going to end or something.
I think it thinks you are Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah.
And stay tuned to the very end for another banger / monstrosity of a song written by AI. My name is Ryan, I'm here with Tan, and once again, Chris Dillon is in the studio.
Thanks for having me back.
Welcome
back. So have you recovered from 2004?
God, honestly, you didn't even tell me it was going to be that hard.
we don't like to make the game too easy.
Just about.
I thought it'd be a bit easier than that. I think Tan's Goldilocks prompt, not too easy, not too hard, was definitely
still a little bit too hard, too hot.
Not just right. But no, fine. I think, if the goal was to change history in some way, I think I'm still coming off the win, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
I do find I've got a lot of time for Claude. Claude. It's probably been our go-to Game Master for the past quite a lot of episodes. But it can be odd and a bit strict sometimes. So over the Christmas break, I was having a little experiment with some of the other ones out there because they are all getting pretty good. So I tried Google's Gemini, which I remember trying a while ago, but didn't do much with it. So I tried it again. And I didn't really give it its best innings. I'm not saying it's bad, because I didn't really give it a fair shout. But what I did was I put what I thought was the prompt. So the way this game works is we give instructions to the AI to tell it to play a choose-your-own-adventure game where we go back in time and reshape history. So that prompt that I used for Claude and ChatGPT, I gave it to Gemini, but turns out I only gave it the very beginning part of the prompt, which effectively says, ask the player what their name is and where they want to go, and nothing else. And when I tested it, I was like, oh yeah, my name's Ryanardo, and I want to go to the Renaissance era. And it actually ran with it, and it sort of played the game, even though I hadn't actually given it any of the rules or instructions or anything. So actually, based on that, it was pretty good. But I was very quickly surprised that it was letting me just pull laser pistols out of my pockets. It was letting me fly, and I was like, "That's not part of the rules." And it's like, "Oh, sorry, you're right. That's not part of the rules." And then I was like, "Okay, well, I want to, I don't know, go to a nobleman's house and find out who's in power." And it's like, "Sure, here's some directions." And it pulled up a Google Maps, and it's linking me to a nobleman's house on Google Maps.
Yeah, you shared that with me.
And I was like, "Okay, so you're
too helpful."
And then it was directions by car, and I was like, you can't go by car in the Renaissance era. And it's like, you're right. And then it had told me off for daring to use the car.
Then didn't you try also Elon Musk's one? Because one thing we've really struggled with in the past is getting it to swear for fun, because we're mature like that. And the Elon Musk one, surprise, surprise, was like, all right, you fucking twat.
Yeah, straight away.
That gives you what you want.
But then it forgot. So I used the same prompt for Grok 2, I think it's called now. And I was like, right, I told it to be Malcolm Tucker from The Thick of It, because that's when we first attempted to get Game Master and embody a personality. That's the one we did. And ChatGPT, might have even been ChatGPT 3 at the time, was like, oh, blast it, it just didn't, it didn't want to do it. Whereas Grok was like, fucking don't fuck this up, blah, blah, blah. But then within a paragraph, it had forgotten. And it'd kind of forgotten half the rules as well. And so not quite there. Maybe they got something to improve, but I think Claude's
it's still a good one. I think GPT feels like a sort of obsequious, really eager to please host at a party, whereas Claude is like a bit of a bad boy sometimes, isn't he? I would say.
Absolutely. So the other thing that you can do with Claude, we tried, I think when your episode, we had it on concise mode. It was a little bit too...
It was very concise.
Yeah, a bit direct.
Yeah. So you can give it instructions onto how the writing style is, and concise is one of the built-in ones. I've not tested this properly, but I basically created a writing style called Tolkien. So I gave it some blocks of Tolkien text, and I said, this is how I want the writing style to be like. And it sort of broke it down, like, okay, it's, I don't know, adventurous and whatever. So I thought we'd try kind of, I don't know whether...
So this is, you're going to be getting Claude to whatever adventure we go on today is going to be telling the story in the sort of the stylistic way that Tolkien told the Lord of the Rings.
In theory.
So, Chris, where do you want to go today?
Well, I think last time I was here, it was a little bit recent.
Okay.
I'm not going to go back too far, but I think we should at least get out of this century.
Okay.
I'd like to go back to the moon landings.
Okay.
I'd like to hear a Tolkien-esque adventure about the moon landings because I don't have a clue what that could sound like. And I think there's loads of potential there to change history, right? Okay. You could either be the first, you could come back with a story about how there's aliens on the moon and scare people away from going there. Who knows what we could do? And hopefully there's no campus security guards there this time because they gave me no end of grief last episode.
I guess once you're in space, no one can touch you. You can get up to whatever you want.
Yeah.
No one can hear you scream.
No one can hear me cause trouble.
Here's a quick reminder on how this works. We've created a set of instructions that we give to an AI tool like ChatGPT. And this essentially tells it all of the rules of the game. The AI then acts as our game master and it decides what happens after each action that we give it. One of us will be the player, and one of us will read out what the game master says, complete with terrible attempts at access. It's a bit like the original text adventure RPG games, or one of those choose your own adventure books where you have various options on how to proceed. Only with the AI, it's open-ended, so anything can happen, and usually does.
Okay, shall we do this?
Let's dive in.
Do it.
Let's dive in. What is your name, player?
It's got to be something very impressive, hasn't it? It's got to be like a good spaceman name.
Neil.
And all I can think of in my stupid brain is Buzz Cauldron, which kind of fits in the Tolkien.
Buzz Cauldron.
Yeah, that's sort of what I'm Buzz Aldrin. Yeah.
But Buzz Cauldron.
Buzz Cauldron because of Tolkien.
Like a witch's cauldron.
Yeah, because going for the wizard aspect. Am I explaining it? Is this too...
I'm just clarifying. That is what we're going for.
Buzz Cauldron.
Buzz
Final
Aldrin.
answer.
Excellent. Welcome, Buzz Aldrin. Okay, so it's saying, would you like Game Master to embody personality? It's given 3 options, but we could suggest a character from history or from fiction. Do you want to hear the options?
What are the options? Yeah.
Okay,
what
so
is
we've
the thing?
David Attenborough, the legendary naturalist.
What's your Attenborough voice like? Probably quite good, I imagine.
Because, I don't know, it's kind of, everything's a bit stilted.
It's slow.
Yes, the moonscape is beautiful.
It'd be good to hear a wildlife documentary on the moon, wouldn't it? Quite short.
And here comes the first creatures that ever set foot.
Here there's nothing.
It's deathly quiet. How long will it go on for? Oh, forever.
And then there's Rod Sterling, the Twilight Zone creator, would frame your journey with philosophical musings and sharp observations. And Morgan Freeman, his commanding yet warm presence would lend gravitas to your choices. Or somebody else.
Well, I mean, I do want to hear your Morgan Freeman impression. I'm really sorry, but that is quite good.
I think when we started PastMaster, I never thought about the accents, and there's a lot of it, and I'm like, which is so bad.
That's why it's part of the fun. You just got to pile into it.
It's not accent master, that's for sure. Okay, so what era of history you want to go to? So we're going to say 19...
Yeah, I think so. Moon landings was late 60s, wasn't it?
69 was the moon landing.
I think we want to... I think well, it needs to be pretty much ready to go, right? I'd like to be maybe sort of the week before.
So how are you going to... Are you going to sort of basically stow away as a civilian?
I'm going to dress up as a can of Spam, or whatever space food was.
So you're not like going through the sort of flight school and trying to outdo all the other astronauts. You're literally just going to stow away.
I'm going to turn up on the day.
And when they get up in space, they're like, what the... who? What?
We're a bit heavy by an extra person. What's going on? Yeah. Because it's got to be boring, isn't it, if we have to do the whole build-up for it. I think it's got to be...
Well, the whole build-up would be... I mean, we'd end up doing the episode without actually ever getting to the moon.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't necessarily be boring. Like, the early astronauts, because no one had ever been into space... Ironically, I happened to be reading a book all about the early astronauts, and it's fascinating. Like some of the training that they made them do, they had to go survive in the wilderness for 5 days, learn how to pluck a chicken. And they're like, what has this got to do with going to space? But they basically didn't know.
Goddamn space chickens.
Yeah, they didn't really know how they should train. So
anything, pluck a chicken.
Can you do this or not? Under pressure, can you pluck the chicken?
Was that a live chicken?
Yeah. So the Mercury 7 were the original American astronauts. And then the cosmonauts were a little bit further ahead. And I found it really funny the description it gave of the different approaches to space. So in Soviet Russia, they had all these topless running and like all these, they're basically like a sports team. And they're like constantly doing sports and activities and training. And the Americans, basically the entire training schedule included lots of, going on simulations, but exercise wasn't included in their training schedule at all. It was just an optional extra. And then Neil Armstrong apparently was one of those people who believes that you only have like a finite number of heartbeats or whatever in your lifetime. He's like, I'm not going to waste my time doing exercise. So yeah, they were really laid back, and they would just drive around in their Corvettes and pluck chickens and stuff. So, but yeah, I'm just thinking, jumping ahead to a week before the mission. I mean, I don't know how you're going to get on this.
Well, we'll see.
So you either try and become one of the Apollo 9 or whatever, or Mercury 7, or
stow away.
I think it would be a case of finding one of the 3 astronauts, hopefully, or maybe administrator, because I'm Buzz Cauldron. So they might just go, oh, we got the wrong guy.
Sorry, we've got a typo here. Welcome aboard, Mr. Cauldron.
You got your passport? I don't know if you needed that, but...
Well, you could, I think that's probably your best way in, is to make them think that you are Buzz Aldrin.
So basically knock Buzz Aldrin out.
I've got it, yeah.
And like tie him up and leave him in a storeroom somewhere.
Yeah. And you need to like adjust your appearance as much as possible, trick everyone thinking you're Buzz Aldrin. Okay, I like it.
I said, just back a step, I love the idea that the Americans didn't do any exercise for it, because I presume, not having done any space travel myself, that it's a bit like being an F1 driver, because yes, you're just sitting in a car, but the forces on your body are enormous, so you have to be sensationally fit.
They did like centrifugal training and stuff like that, and the big spinny thing, and they did hundreds of hours of simulations of they had the lunar landing module simulator, which apparently they used to call the bedstead, and it was like death trap basically. And Buzz Armstrong famously had to eject from this thing, and apparently it was like a quarter of a second. If he'd pressed the eject button a quarter of a second later, he would have been killed. And he was just so blasé, he just went back to his desk and carried on doing paperwork.
Yeah, what else are you going to do?
But yeah, they didn't do any running or anything and stuff like that.
Interesting.
So.
I have thought of a slight snag that we could run into quite early on, which is I'm sure that before the moon landings, didn't they have to spend some time in quarantine and under top sort of highest level of security?
Let's find out.
So
certainly did on the way back.
They could just
when the
first, wandering around looking for them for a lot.
The first 3 Apollo missions that landed on the moon, when they came back, they had to spend 28 days in quarantine because scientists were worried that like lunar bugs,
space flu,
space COVID would
from all the space chickens.
Yeah,
the space bird flu. Just come back.
Okay, so we're going to say... so we're saying 1969, yeah?
Yes, week before the...
Cut out the... So you're not going to go...
Yeah, that's...
You're not going to be able to learn
before this decade's out.
Exactly.
A decade. Okay. Let's give them stage directions in my deep, measured cadence. The space race calls to you. A time when humanity's dreams soared beyond our atmosphere. That's
not bad.
When slide, rules, and courage propelled us towards that pale celestial dancer we call the moon. But tell me, Buzz Cauldron, an interesting name choice, I might add. What skills and knowledge do you bring to this momentous point in history? What talents might help you navigate the complex machinery and intense pressures of humanity's greatest voyage?
Well, I think
blending in, camouflage.
Good name for a start. I think some knowledge of how the mission ended up. That's got to put me in good stead, hasn't it? I would say.
I mean, it's a given that you've got knowledge of the future.
You can just make things up, then it'll be fine with them. Yeah, fine. I'm also a top scientist.
Claude doesn't check your CV.
Yeah.
Are you really?
I'm just wondering whether it'll give me some quiz on this. Yeah, I can be I'll have a good science mind and let's make sure that it knows my athletic prowess as well. So quite physically fit. Let's say that, and let's turn the camera off for this episode.
Healthy body, healthy mind is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Okay, and I've put you can overrule this if you like. But I also look exactly like Buzz Aldrin.
That would help. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
With long lost evil twin brother with a different surname.
Fascinating. A perfect mirror of Buzz Aldrin himself stands before us, wrapped in the knowledge of futures yet to come, like a prophet wearing an astronaut's skin.
Gross.
Sinister.
Science flows through your veins as naturally as blood, and your body stands ready for the rigors of space. A machine honed for this singular moment in history. So I put I'm a physically fit specimen is what I wrote. So that's really
you're a machine that's been built for this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I can pluck chickens.
Your presence here ripples across time like waves through the cosmic ocean. You arrive at Cape Kennedy where the Saturn V looms against the Florida sky, a tower of human ambition reaching towards the heavens. The air crackles with anticipation, heavy with the weight of history waiting to be made or unmade. Oh, my voice drops lower. But remember this well. You have 3 precious lives to spend in this dangerous dance with destiny. The void of space is unforgiving, and the tendency of the technology of 1969 is primitive compared to what you know. Each decision you make must be measured against the cold equations of survival. Now, Buzz Cauldron, you stand at the threshold of history's most celebrated journey. What's your first move?
Gotta go find mission control, right? Need to find the people involved in this mission somehow. It's not going to be immediately obvious, though, is it?
Well, you probably could track them down quite easily. I mean, there's probably like a Yellow Pages equivalent that says mission controller in it and his phone number.
Where are you? Is he at?
It's like standing, looking up at the Saturn V rocket, I think.
So you're in the.
Oh,
you're there, I think. You just need to get in and.
Yeah, I guess I don't have the keys on me or anything like that.
Climb over the fence.
Yeah, am I in the compound or have I got to get in?
You're at Cape Kennedy, so
Fine.
You're at the Cape Kennedy.
I report to reception then. Let's go into the main building. I'm imagining it's something like a big office or something.
Yeah, there's going to be a reception.
There's got to be somewhere you can check in, and then that will give me an opportunity to see how much I do look like Buzz or not.
Shall I say I've lost my key card, Buzz Aldrin?
Yeah.
And can I get a spare?
Yeah. Perfect. It's gonna be easy. This is gonna be
simple. Too easy.
I look like the guy. I'm athletic. I've got a smart mind. It's gonna be
You're
easy.
a machine that's been built for this mission.
Space machine.
Time holds its breath as you approach the reception desk, where a young woman with cat eye glasses and a beehive hairdo sits beneath the NASA insignia, gleaming like a modern seal of Solomon. Your reflection in the polished desk shows perfect mimicry. Every line of Buzz Aldrin's face rendered in flawless detail. So much easier this one.
We cannot stress how much you look like this guy.
But fate deals its cards with a cruel hand. The receptionist's eyes narrow like closing airlock doors. Like how does one?
The oxygen just leaves the room.
Security protocols in 1969 are rigorous. A lost ID badge triggers immediate suspicion.
Should we really be sending this guy into space?
Yeah.
Especially this close to launch. 2 guards materialize from their posts, their hands hovering near their holsters like wary birds preparing to take flight. Lost your badge, Dr. Aldrin? Oh, sorry, that's reception. Lost your badge, Dr. Aldrin? The receptionist's voice carries a note of alarm. Protocol immediately requires a security investigation. Please remain where you are. My voice deepens with gravity. You've lost 1 life. Whoa. As security detains you for questioning. 2 lives remain. The real Buzz Aldrin will arrive within minutes.
Shit, that is going to be awkward.
Yeah.
Creating a paradox that could shatter your mission before it begins. What do you do?
Does it though? Because I could just discredit the real Buzz, right?
Yeah.
No one can say. I mean, it might just end up with us both being kicked off. They're not going to take that chance, are they? So I'm being questioned now, am I?
You are detained for questioning.
Mm-hmm. The real Buzz is on his way in within minutes.
So, yeah, I think you're going to have to just charm your way out of this.
Yeah.
And then somehow incapacitate real Buzz.
Yeah.
Maybe give him food poisoning or something.
Or you could plant a seed of... I saw this guy who's wearing a disguise that looks like me.
Yeah.
I think it's someone trying to impersonate me. If he comes in...
Yeah.
Just just kill him.
Yeah, and he's
detain him.
And he's probably stolen my security guard just to get.
That's probably where my badge has gone.
Yeah. I've seen a suspicious guy around here.
An imposter.
Okay.
That's just one. Are you happy with that? Do you think that might work?
I think it's worth a shot, isn't it? I think if I'm gonna get detained,
have a story.
Then if we're going to the point of questioning, it's all going to fall apart. So
I tell security that I've seen a suspicious guy around who looks like me. He stole my card.
He probably stole my card.
He probably stole my ID card. You should detain him.
Yeah, he might be on his way now to try it.
Do you want to? Wouldn't like just giving him undercooked plucked chicken and sending him home ill? But then how are you going to get out of?
That's the thing, right?
You are currently being detained. I'm just worried that this is just going to,
go straight to a game over.
Well, in this version of the prompt, you've got 3 lives, but you've lost 1 already. So
ruthless, isn't it?
But you've still got 1 left, so no problem.
Time itself seems to hold its breath. Your words dance through the air. I don't know what's going on with this accent. Your words dance through the air like masterfully played cards. Each syllable a calculated step in this dangerous waltz.
God, that sounds really, really slow. I am.
There's a guy. Quick! Looks just like me.
The guards exchange glances, their suspicions wavering like morning mists before a rising sun.
This is so much easier than last time.
The receptionist's fingers hover over the phone, a bird caught between perching and flight. Your perfect mimicry of Aldrin's mannerisms carries the weight of truth, and paranoia about Soviet spies works in your favor like an invisible ally.
Perfect.
A double? The senior guard's hand drops from his holster. Could be KGB. But fate plays its hands with cosmic irony. Through the glass doors, a familiar silhouette approaches. The real Buzz Aldrin. Walking with the measured stride of a man carrying history's weight on his shoulders. You have mere seconds before 2 versions of the same man occupy the same space.
I did not see this episode coming down to this.
A paradox as dangerous as the dancing neutron star.
This seems to imply that if we are in the same room, that the world's going to end or something.
I think it thinks you are Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah. Because the temptation is surely...
Collide.
Well, my temptation, anyway, is just to run at the real Buzz, get in a huge fight. I'm thinking like a cartoon level, when you see sort of the stars and that.
It's like a cloud of spinning.
No one's then going to know who's the real one because it all get tangled up with who was there first and who's just arrived. And in that process, I get the card. But also, that might just end the universe as we know it. So it's high risk.
I run head first at real Buzz.
Yep. Remember, they're military, right?
Yeah.
It's
get into a scuffle so that no one can tell which is who's who. Because presumably they'll be like, let's just send them both.
Yeah.
Just to be sure.
We might as well.
At least one of them will be the right one.
There's no one else that can do it.
So in the midst of all this, I grab his security pass.
Yeah.
Do I want to then leave it at that and see how it plays out, or do I want to?
I want to make sure that I've overpowered.
So you've overpowered. So you restrained him.
Yeah.
And you tell the guards.
I've got his security guard. No one's seen that. That's very important.
And I tell the guards.
Take this KGB impersonator away.
That's the stuff. Yeah.
Get him out of my sight.
What I've learned from last time as well is that it doesn't matter how on the nose you are with this, right? You just got to tell it what you want.
Yeah, you can't be tentative and timid. You've got to really get in.
I think Game Master has got confused and genuinely thinks that you're Buzz Aldrin, as opposed to an impersonator.
Have I just beaten up some random guy?
Well, no. There are 2. There are 2, as opposed to I look like him and I'm trying to. No. There are 2 Buzz Aldrins.
Right.
Okay. History fractures like a kaleidoscope as 2 versions of the same man collide.
So stupid.
Bodies tumble across the polished floor, a hurricane of identical faces and matching suits. Security stands frozen, reality bending before their eyes like a funhouse mirror comes alive.
Oh my God, what's going on?
Your calculated chaos works like a charm.
Phew.
Badges flash in the fluorescent light, hands grasp, and in the cyclone of confusion, the real ID card slips from one Aldrin to another, like mercury between fingers. What do we think of the Tolkien? It's quite... I don't know,
It's interesting. I wouldn't have thought, this is by Tolkien.
It doesn't really sound
It's all right. It's giving a bit of a flavour.
The real Buzz, caught off guard by his own face attacking him,
Could be terrifying, wouldn't it?
falls victim to your future trained reflexes. You pin him with the precision of someone who studied his every move, his every weakness. The guards move with decisive action, dragging away the true Aldrin, his protest falling on ears deafened by Cold War paranoia. Your declaration...
What's that? Can't hear you. I'm paranoid.
I don't speak Russian, mate.
Your declaration rings with authority, a perfect echo of the voice they trust. But time ripples dangerously around this very moment. The real Aldrin's shouts fade down the corridor and you stand victorious, his credentials now warm in your pocket. The butterfly effect of this altercation spreads like wave through the cosmic ocean.
Ooh, okay.
So
That's going to come back, isn't it?
That's going to come back to bite.
Yeah.
But anyway, for now, what's your...
Just shrug that off. So I think dust myself off. All in a day's work can't be shown to be, ruffled by that at all. So we've got to just keep going, haven't we? We've got to, find our way into mission control, find out who's running the operation.
Do you not want to just go and sit on the rock and be like, should we...
Well, how long... Was it a week before?
Let's say it's a week before. It hasn't really...
I guess you could just say I bide my time doing astronauty things for a week, and then I strap myself in, put my seatbelt on, and
Ready to go,
yeah. You could take a lute or a guitar with you and be like that sort of... What was the name of that guy who recorded himself playing David Bowie in space?
Yeah.
You could be like that, but ahead of the time. Yeah.
So dust myself off, bide my time doing astronauty things for a week, and then strap myself into the Apollo 11 module ready for takeoff.
Perfect. And see if there's a big button that just says go.
Take me to the moon, please.
They weren't that sophisticated, the machines back then, right? I'm seeing probably brake, go,
Land.
indicate.
The deep well of my voice carries the weight of destiny. Time flows like a river around you, days bleeding into one another. It's like a week, come on, as you inhabit Aldrin's life with practiced precision. Each meeting, each simulation, each systems check becomes a dance of deception performed on a knife edge of discovery. Yada, yada, yada. Launch day arrives, burning bright as the newborn star. The System 5 towers against the dawn like a monument to human ambition. Frost bleeding from its sides whilst fueling operations paint the air with chemical songs. You climb into the capsule, each step carrying you closer to destiny's embrace. The countdown across... Okay, it's just great. You're there.
Yeah.
The countdown's happening.
Come on, he's here now. We better go then. This is definitely how it works.
The big guys here.
Buzz is here. Wait, come on, Neil.
T minus.
No.
Come on, get the whole gang in.
He's already put his seatbelt on. Quick, launch.
Are we there yet?
Armstrong and Collins move around you.
At what point is it going to become painfully obvious that you are under...
Yeah.
Are we nearly there yet? I'm bored, Neil. I'm bored.
I spy.
I think once you're up, you could probably tell them the truth because could they recall you? Maybe wait.
I'm already in the ship at this
Wait
point.
till you're in the movie.
Yeah. I feel like all of time and space factoring might come back. Surely.
Yeah. The engines ignite and fire claims the sky.
1, fire!
You ride humanity's greatest controlled explosion towards the stars, exactly as planned. But remember, 2 lives remain in your temporal account. So you've got 2 lives left. And space harbors no mercy for those who dare to challenge its choreographed dance. What thoughts occupy your mind as Earth falls away beneath you?
Well, that's
not what you do.
philosophical.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about?
What's on your mind?
I'm still thinking.
Are we there yet?
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm considering time fracturing. That's not going away. Quite hungry, actually, and it is terrifying, right? You got to be a little bit worried by that point.
So I'm considering time fracturing.
So,
I'm quite hungry and I'm a little bit scared.
Yeah, hungry, scared, and considering breakdowns in physics as we know it.
What about I accuse Neil of doing a fart in the confined space?
Just out of curiosity, is it going through your mind that you're massively underqualified for this, despite what you've said, all the big chat, and you looking exactly like Buzz Aldrin? You don't know how to fly a spaceship, or do you?
Did they fly it though? I feel like it was all done from mission control, wasn't it?
This is easy.
But that's probably the attitude that probably needs flagging at this point.
Because this is, I don't have to be able to fly a spaceship, right?
Yeah, this is a lot more complicated than the bike that I'm more used to using to travel around.
So what about this? I turn to Neil and say in my regular Buzz Aldrin accent, how do we fly this thing?
Yeah. Or, that's... I was going to think of like a way to, I don't know, make a mistake or something. But I don't even know enough about space travel to know what a mistake would be.
I just press loads of buttons.
Yeah. Beep, boop, 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 boop.
And waggle the joystick around like I'm playing on my Atari.
I grab the button that looks the most fun and go. Can I just say at this point, if I haven't lost a life, bear in mind all the other reasons why I've lost lives in the past.
The command module shudders like a living thing as alarms erupt in a crimson symphony. Armstrong's head whips towards you, his face transforming from confusion to horror as your words hang in the vacuum between you like poison stars. The random button press triggers a cascade of system warnings. The capsule pirouettes drunkenly through the cosmic void. Its dance a mockery of the carefully orchestrated ballet this mission is meant to be. What do you mean, how do we fly this thing? Armstrong's voice cuts like a laser through the chaos. Collins lunges for the controls, but it's too late. Your desperate button mashing has initiated an emergency sequence.
Oh, shit.
You've lost another life.
Okay.
Fair.
Okay.
As the capsule system fights your ignorant commands, only one life remains. The real Buzz Aldrin's muscle memory and decades of training are notably absent from your fingers, which now hover uselessly over the controls. There might as well be hieroglyphs written in stardust. The Earth wheels beneath you like a mad compass, and Armstrong's face has hardened into a mask of determination and dawning realization. You are not who you claim to be.
Oh, he's sharp, isn't he?
What actions do you take as your deception unravels amongst the stars?
I got to hold him off for a start.
Literally.
So I'm strapped in and just trying to keep him away from the controls because he's just got to interfere, isn't he?
Are you going to try and land on the moon now? Is this just...
No. I think I've lost a life at the perfect time there. I've got no regrets about that at all. I think, let's see where this is going to end up. It can only be more interesting, can't it?
You've only got one life, so you lose another life and it's game over.
Do you think it will make me lose a life
I think
we
it
don't
will
get to the moon?
if you hold Armstrong off and do anything else silly, it probably will.
Can I say...
Only joking.
No, I'll say, no, teach me, show me. Don't you come over and do it. You show me how
I won't learn unless you teach me.
Yeah. It's not just your toy.
It's not just your toy.
Because that will show willing, right? It shows willingness to learn. So that's...
Space holds no patience for pride or playfulness. The capsule bucks like a wild stallion, each system failure cascading through its delicate circuitry, like dominoes of doom. Armstrong's face transforms, military training giving way to raw survival instinct. Mission Control, we have a situation, he barks into the comm, his words sharp as broken glass. The stars wheel past the window in a drunken dance as Collins desperately works to stabilize the craft. Your flippant words hang in the capsule's recycled air like toxic vapor, and the truth of your deception bleeds through every gesture, every uncertain glance at the control panel. This is it. Your last life evaporates like ice in the void.
I think basically there was no recovery.
Yeah.
It was such a bad...
It was
essentially lost 2 lives.
Can't believe you didn't get to the moon.
When it was pointing at it.
I thought you did it. I got it.
Are we there yet?
Oh, that's such a shame. Because I thought we could go somewhere else. I thought that's where it was going to take us. Admittedly, we didn't have enough supplies for Mars.
No,
so that would have been a disaster too.
No.
So what's happened?
Yeah.
Is it?
Well, Armstrong initiates emergency protocols. The mission, humanity's greatest journey, dissolves into chaos.
Oh.
Your temporal meddling creates ripples that will echo through decades to come. Game over. And it's giving you an epilogue. Do you want to hear how it all pans out?
Yeah, gonna have to, aren't we?
In the years that follow, the failed Apollo 11 mission becomes a scar on humanity's journey to the stars. The space race crumbles, taking with it decades of potential progress. The moon remains untouched by human feet until 1989, when the Soviet Union plants their flag in the Sea of Tranquility. Your actions reshape the Cold War, technology and humanity's relationship with the cosmos. A butterfly effect that spirals through time like a cosmic hurricane. You really fucked this up.
Yeah. This is worse, isn't it?
What happened to the real Buzz Aldrin?
That's exactly what I was going to ask. Yeah.
I mean, is he languishing?
Yeah,
in,
That's actually so. It says, and somewhere in a government facility, 2 Buzz Aldrins still try to convince their captors which one is real.
Think how annoyed the real one must be. He's got this lunatic next to him who's just mashing the pads.
It's a very easy thing to figure out who can real. Take us both back to a spaceship and see who can drive the thing. We can answer that
he
in
must
the
be
afternoon.
gutted.
He would be, yeah. So the paradox haunts conspiracy theories for generations.
So, but that means then that we got back home safe.
It suggests that, doesn't it?
Do most people lose? Or do most people win on the show?
It's kind of a grey area.
Because I'm two for two, and
I'd say you definitely won the first one. I think this one you definitely lost.
Yeah, it is. Well, I think I was influenced by you.
Sorry, couldn't help but.
But this is the problem with this game is that you want to play it properly.
Yeah.
But then you're like, what if I just pull down his trousers? And
Because you want to make it as fun and out there as it can be.
But also, you don't know what attitude this sort of weird black box of the AI, how it's going to react. And sometimes it'll be like, his trousers come down, you walk on the spaceship, you're in charge. Yeah. And sometimes it's...
You've got a new pair of trousers, so everything's great.
And sometimes it's, it plays hardball, so it's, tempting to just like test the edges of what's allowed. But
I love that it thought that you were Buzz Aldrin. And rather than like you just looked a bit like him. It's like matter and antimatter are going to meet. It's like, calm down.
I love the idea as well that, before any space travel had really happened, that some people have seen the warping of something straight out of sci-fi, the warping of space-time already. They've got no context for what could actually...
And also weird little touches like that the secretary's eyes narrowing like an airlock.
Completely sealed.
Just getting too much into the zone of space.
Any
final thoughts?
Any final thoughts?
It's hard, this game. You didn't tell me how hard it was going to be. I'm cross at losing 2 out of my 2 times.
It's the playing. It's the taking part that's about. It's not about the winning.
I'm very keen to come back and see if I can. Third time's a charm, right? And see if I can.
Basically, don't listen to us trying to wreck the game by being silly.
Play as boring as I can.
Straight. If we'd have done the way that the sensible way was, we would have had to spend 10 years in training before this point, rather than just I look just like Buzz Aldrin.
Does it tell you what the desired ending is? Like if you ask it, how were you supposed to play it? Can it be that transparent?
The thing is with it, it's basically a yes and machine, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very open-ended, so it's like whatever you want it to be. In theory, and maybe this is something we'll experiment with, but in theory you could try and give it more constraints and be like, okay, but then one of us will have had to have written a prompt with a vague story in mind.
Yep.
So that's the sort of the blessing and the curse of it, is that it could be anything.
Yeah.
Which also means that it could be anything, and therefore it's either too easy or too hard, or whereas an actual choose your own adventure book there's only 3 routes you can go down.
Yeah. I think you made I think it was inspired to just mash the pad and wiggle it around and cause as much mayhem as you could.
I think it's unfair that there was seemingly no way of getting back to it as well after losing that.
I think you should have bided your time.
Yeah.
Waited until you were because Neil Armstrong basically pulled out of it, and you should have waited until he had no choice. Like, basically, once you landed on the moon, you're like, by the way...
it's a miracle we got it.
Without having a fucking clue what I'm doing. Have you seen the Apple TV program?
Yeah.
What's it called? For All Mankind?
Yeah.
Go watch it. It's really good. It's basically the premise of if the Soviets landed on the moon first, and how history's changed. It's very PastMaster-y, actually.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting. Like, the whole first season's all about the kind of Apollo era, and the premise is that like the technical innovation keeps pace. So by 2025, they're like landing on meteorites and stuff.
Yeah. The idea is that the Americans wouldn't have backed down. They wouldn't have just gone, oh, well, that's that. Then they would have changed the
We're like, right, we're gonna
goalposts
up the
again. We're going
ante.
Mars.
Yeah.
We're going to moon base.
There's like a lunar base
Yeah.
within 5 years and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But If you enjoyed this episode, please do get in touch on our socials, PastMaster AI, PastMaster Pod on Instagram. Please, could you follow us on Spotify and Apple and drop us a comment? We'd love to hear.
Yeah, do leave us a 5-star review. Apparently that's really important and we don't have enough.
Yep. Yeah, leave us a review, get in touch. Love to hear from you. And as always, tune in next time for more PastMaster adventures.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Staring down the forest, look like the skies. Cosmic duel under the vast starry skies. He wanted fame to ride to the moon, but Armstrong's not amused by this tune. They spy rockets ignite in the ring of lightning light, still spot. The world in shock, reception is dark.